So,
So,
close calls.
yeah.
So a couple of years ago, it might have been a couple of years ago now, maybe a bit longer ago. I was working for a company, it was an agricultural company, and part of my job, I mean, I work in IT, and part of my job there was to travel to the different farms that they had.
Oh, this story.
and provide IT support basically for certain farms. I'd have my headquarters that I'd work in, every day. But there'd be certain occasions where I need to travel to another farm to, troubleshoot some certain systems and what have you. So there's one day where I was going. So I went to the headquarters office. I did my morning in the headquarters office, but then there was an urgent call to go out to one of these other farms and try and fix a problem that they had. At the time, I have a watch, a smartwatch, and it has this functionality where it can send out SOS messages, and it can send out GPS tracking data, and it can do all sorts of things. And I had this set up because just in case I'm ever in trouble or what have you, and I can't get my phone out to send someone a message or call someone, I can just press a button on my watch or press it 3 or 4 times, I think it is, something like that, and the watch will automatically send out an SOS signal.
It's definitely more than once you have to press it.
Yeah.
In case you press it by accident.
You have to be very deliberate with it. So I wear my watch almost every day whenever I'm traveling, and for whatever reason, this day that I decided to go to work, I took off the protective shield that's on it. So my watch usually has a bit like this protective case that I've got on this Insta360, a little bit like that, where it just protects the watch and it helps it last a little bit longer. But this day I decided to take it off. I can't remember why, but I took it off.
Was it because it was hitting your... Was it a bit uncomfortable?
No,
is that why?
No, I don't think so. I think I just wanted to run the watch without the case one day. So I don't know. I honestly can't remember. But anyway, so I was traveling in between these offices or in between these farms, and it's a fair distance away, maybe half hour, 45 minutes between the farms, and I had loads and loads of missed calls. But because it was an urgent job that I was at, I couldn't pick up my phone. I had to go and fix the issue. And so I spent about an hour and a half trying to fix this issue. In the meantime, I'm getting missed calls left, right, and centre from my dad, from my mum.
Me.
Did you try calling me?
I tried to call you once, and I texted you a couple of times.
Yeah.
That sounds like I'm really heartless. So basically, what had happened was...
Well, let me explain the whole story first.
And then I'll see where I come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, I was getting calls, texts left, right, and centre from loved ones. And there's only a set number of people that I sent out that I had set up for these SOS messages. I couldn't answer my phone because I was working on this urgent thing. And then, about an hour and a half, 2 hours go by, and I decide to have a look at my phone and see what all the fuss is about. And it's just calls from my dad, from my mum, from wifey, from all sorts of people that I've got set up as the contacts in the case of an emergency. And so I decided to call them back. I can't remember who I called back first.
I think
it was my dad. I think I called him back first because he was the one that was constantly calling me every 5 minutes. And so I call him, and he's in his car and he's driving, and he goes, hello, and then I say, Dad, what's going on? And he just breaks down crying.
So let me pause you there. And
hang on. He was crying like a baby down the phone. He couldn't say anything. There were no words. He couldn't say anything. He was so upset.
Before you go too far, I want to rewind to what happened when your dad called me for the first time.
Well, so anyway, just before you do, so basically what happened is that my watch obviously has sent out these SOS messages without me knowing. I didn't know, and on my watch itself, it didn't say that it sent out SOS messages or anything like that, but for whatever reason, it got caught on my bracelets or something, on my jacket, and it sent out these messages.
So I'm going to sound really heartless when I give my bit out, but I wasn't concerned too badly, because I was like, I'm sure everything's okay, and I don't know if I was in denial, that I didn't want to think something was wrong. So basically, I'm working, And at the time I was doing programming, so I was in code and I was working, and I get this because you call me and you text me as well. That's what your Watch SOS does, but it only texts your parents. I get the call and I get the text. So I get the whole shebang. So I'm working, I answer it because it's obviously called me, and I can't hear I can hear you riding, and I'm like, he's just done it by accident, like, what a plonker, it's fine, hang up. Text comes through and I'm thinking, I'm sure it's nothing. Put my phone down, go back to what I'm doing. Your dad calls me. Oh, have you had these SOS? Yes, I have. I answered the phone because I got a phone call. I can hear him riding. I think he's fine. Like, let's just give him some time. He's probably going from A to B. It'll be all right. Put my phone down. Don't think anything more of it. Half an hour later, I get another phone call from your dad. Have you been able to get hold of him? No, I haven't. I'm sure it's okay. Like, he's at work. I'm sure if they hadn't got to where he wanted to be, someone would contact me, some emergency contact. I will find out something isn't right. Okay, put my phone back down, and I'm thinking, right, I need to get this bloody bit of code finished because it's doing my nut in. So I start again. The phone rings. Almost said my name then. I haven't. Have you heard from him? No. Where does he work? Well, he works in 2 places. It could be one. I don't know where he is right now.
No, I work in multiple. Well, I worked in
at
multiple
that point,
sites.
Yeah, and then your dad went, right, I'm just going to get on. I'm just going to go towards that way. So I was like, right, okay. Ironically, you'd taken me to where you worked the week before this happened. Yeah. So I knew roughly the route, and I was like, I got in your car for some bizarre reason. Went in your car, not mine. Don't know why.
Thanks, yeah, we're using my fuel. Thanks.
You're the one that was missing. You deserved this. So I basically got in the car, was driving. I was 10 minutes from your office when Plonker calls me and I pull over and I say, are you okay? Because I've had your dad on the phone and he's like proper panicking. He's made me stressed out. I've had to call my boss and say, my boyfriend is missing. I need to go find him.
Yeah, we weren't married at that point.
No, and he was like, this is very dramatic. I said, yeah, I'm sure he's fine. I'll be back in half an hour and he'll be all right. So anyway, I go out. I'm 10 minutes from your office and you call me and you're like, where are you? And I was like, where the bloody hell are you?
Yeah.
And then you kind of told me what happened. So I turned around, went home and finished my work.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the thing is
that
the text message that got sent out as well, it had GPS coordinates.
Oh,
but
yeah.
they're supposed to be live coordinates.
And they stopped, and your dad thought you were in a bush.
The coordinates stopped kind of like off the main road and into a farm, basically. But, I can't even remember where the GPS thought I was, but I think it went off close to my head office where I would normally work. So I must have literally just left the office, was on my way out of the town when my watch decided to send out the SOS messages.
And the problem is, when someone starts panicking and they're talking to someone else, he was panicking talking to me, and what was it he was saying? Oh, I said, yeah, I know the GPS has stopped. Obviously, if he's on the side of the road, I'll find him. And then your dad turned around and went, what if he's in a bush? And I was like, well, the bike's green, the bush is green, I've got no chance. As a joke, or did I get told off for that? Oh, it's not funny, and I'm like, well, I'm sure he's fine.
I didn't know you said that.
Well, I try and lighten the mood, and I didn't want to tell you after all the stress you've been through.
You don't do that to
and
my dad.
Like,
when my dad gets in this mindset, he goes into like disaster recovery mode.
Proper like.
So he takes it very seriously.
And I think your mum background was going, I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's fine. Like, your mum was so cool and collected about it. So yeah, that's. And what have you done now? You put your case back on your watch, haven't you?
Yeah. I keep the case on now just in case. But I mean, this kind of story follows on a little bit from Monday's video where we're talking about how families get affected by us riding motorcycles, and it's one of those things where when something like that happens, they know you're riding your motorcycle, they automatically think the worst has happened, and so it kind of just highlights the issue. For families, sometimes you have to reassure them. You have to say, look, it's absolutely fine. I'm fine. Literally, nothing happened. Nothing happened. My watch just sent out a freak SOS message out to, my certain contacts that I had. Yeah. So it's just one of those situations where there was nothing I could do. I had a job to do. I couldn't contact anyone.
You didn't even know anything was going on.
No, but no one was sending me messages. Everyone was calling me. No one was sending me messages.
Did I not try and text you as well? Oh.
No. Because when I checked my phone, it's just a load of missed calls. I didn't have any messages. If someone had sent me a text message saying, look,
had an
we
SOS,
think
are you
you're
okay?
dead, you make sure you message us to let us know
Yeah.
you're all right. That would have been a bit cooler. But the fact that basically the whole family mobilised and travelled to try and find where I would
But-
be in a bush.
But don't you feel loved?
Oh yeah, of course.
Well,
yeah,
then.
it's a
Don't-
wonderful feeling, but you kind of get the impression, oh come on, it's a bit over the top. And like you were saying, because my watch called you, you could hear the bike moving. It probably it was underneath my jacket, of course, but you would have heard the wind
That's the thing.
moving,
Blushing. Also shy.
brushing past me. You probably would have heard me changing gears
I
or something
think
like that.
If the bike was on the side, it would have been a very different sound to how it was if you were moving.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't have heard the wind. You would have heard like
No.
nothing. So if you could hear the wind blowing, then I was almost certainly riding.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the wifey diagnosed that it was probably just a mistake, probably just by accident. But my dad just, like completely, because he's ex-military. He used to be a commando in the signals. Logistics. Sorry, in logistics. And all of these instincts just kicked in, and he was very,
And then
very
obviously being-
decisive, and he wanted to make sure
but
that everything was all right.
Also, on the flip side, being ex-police, probably
Yeah.
seeing the aftermath
yeah,
of these
course.
things,
Yeah,
and
yeah, he's-
mile a minute going, oh my gosh,
He's-
that's my firstborn.
You make a really good point, because he has seen horrific accidents, motorcyclists, drivers. He's seen all sorts of stuff. And yeah, I imagine that's exactly what he was thinking. He
Yeah.
probably had all this stuff going through his mind about what the hell had happened.